Before World War II, two brothers worked together as shoemakers in the German town of Herzogenaurach. However, during the war, they had a severe argument that led to the split of the family business. Initially, the feud affected only their respective employees, but over time, it divided the entire town of Herzogenaurach. The residents became fiercely loyal to one brand of shoe, local businesses took sides, and intermarriage across the divided lines was discouraged. Consequently, Herzogenaurach gained the nickname the Town of Bent Necks, as its inhabitants would look down to ensure they were interacting with members of their own group. One may wonder if such a significant division could truly revolve around shoes. Wouldn't more profound cultural differences be required to generate such conflict? To address this question, we can turn to social psychologist Henri Tajfel and his colleagues at the University of Bristol. They developed the minimal group paradigm, a methodology aimed at investigating the minimal conditions needed to create animosity between people. Their plan was to gather participants without the typical factors that contribute to hostility, such as religious, ethnic, gender, or other cultural differences. These participants would be split into groups and subjected to scenarios that introduced one variable at a time to examine its impact on conflict. First, the researchers needed a control condition, a pair of groups without any inherent bias. They informed the participants that they were being grouped based on their ability to estimate things correctly or incorrectly, although in reality, the group assignments were entirely random. Since the participants did not interact with each other, they were unable to form any judgments or personal bonds. Then, resources were provided to distribute among the groups, and each participant had the freedom to allocate resources to members of either group. Importantly, all interactions and decisions were kept anonymous, meaning that the participants' choices had no impact on the resources they would personally receive. Despite the absence of discriminatory factors and competition over resources, individuals in these groups, defined solely by a perceived similarity in possessing an arbitrary skill, still displayed in-group bias. They consistently favored members of their own group over those in the outgroup. Subsequent research went even further, informing participants that their group membership was determined solely by a coin flip. Surprisingly, group bias persisted. The minimal distinctions of us and them were sufficient to evoke bias. In the absence of stereotypes, resource conflicts, and status differences, what remained to explain people's clear preferences for temporary and meaningless groups? Tajfel and his colleagues concluded that social identity played a significant role. People often rely on group membership to shape their sense of identity, and these minimal group experiments indicated that merely being categorized as part of a group is enough to associate that group with a person's sense of self. In an effort to establish a meaningful identity, participants allocated more resources to their in-group, even when there was no clear personal benefit to themselves as individuals. Similar experiments examining the impact of shared identity have been conducted worldwide, exploring how it influences attention, perception, memory, and emotions. The mental processes underlying minimal group distinctions appear to align with those underlying real group identities. Consequently, seemingly insignificant differences can solidify into more serious divides. However, it is worth noting that minimal groups do not always create divisions. Bringing individuals together in a new group can temporarily help overcome entrenched biases. Unfortunately, these positive effects can easily be nullified by external factors that reinforce existing group identities. Ultimately, the psychology of groups is an inherent aspect of human nature, and our tendency toward in-group bias is an undeniable part of our condition. It falls upon all of us to foster inclusivity within our groups and within ourselves.